Hello, everyone. This is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. It is an interesting day today, or yesterday. Tom Coughlin was let go by the Jacksonville Jaguars as president of football operations. I'm seeing a lot of Giant fans either want him to be re-signed, don't want him to be re-signed. They want to go back to the old Giant formula. That, and you have some people that says, Tom Coughlin, all the fines that he gave his players for involuntary workouts and the Players Association getting that money back, he doesn't know how to relate to the players of now. Here's my thing. Tom Coughlin, to me, he's no longer a head coach. He's just at that age, kind of where Parcells hit, where, he's just not there probably in the way to relate to players the way they are now. Not saying that he couldn't relate to the players they are now, but one of the things I have an issue with is reading some of the comments and posts of people saying, well, Tom Coughlin can't evolve or adjust. Well, that's farther from the truth. I mean, in 2007, the team basically hated Tom Coughlin. Strahan hated Tom Coughlin. Everyone hated Tom Coughlin. And we had the losing streak, and it was Strahan, that pulled Coughlin on the side and say, hey, listen, being 5 minutes early means you're 5 minutes late. It doesn't fly. You got to treat these guys like they're men. And if you treat them like they're men, they're going to follow you. And Coughlin relaxed his rules, and, the rest is history. They went on to win that Super Bowl, and then they went on to win another one in 2011, and then we have what we refer to as Coughlin guys, Coughlin players. And then he had his seasons, after. We had the whole Plexico Burress shooting himself. We had some bad drafts, bad free agent signings. And we kind of, not only did we let Eli Manning down in reference to the talent we put around him, we also let Tom Coughlin down with Jerry Reese in his drafts. But, it's one of those things. You have your 6-10 seasons, then we let him go. And I laugh because people are like, well, he couldn't relate. He couldn't change his offense. Well, people seem to forget the last 2 years of the Coughlin regime here was Ben McAdoo. Bob McAdoo. I've been watching basketball too much. Ben McAdoo was the offense coordinator. The boy genius from Green Bay is coming in to revamp the office of, from Kevin Gilbride. Which, which was a change because Eli had that bad season. We threw the 27 interceptions. Then he came in, and then he averaged 4,400 yards, 35 touchdowns, and only 14 interceptions a year for 2 years under McAdoo. So, Coughlin was able to evolve. Coughlin did evolve. Coughlin, got rid of Gilbride. I don't know if it was a Coughlin decision or a Jerry Reese decision or a Tisch decision or a Merritt decision. I don't know, but we got rid of Gilbride, and we turned it around. We turned the offense around. The defense has been a mess for years after 2011 because we have some terrible drafts. We have some terrible talent evaluation. But you know what? That to me is not Coughlin's fault. That was Jerry Reese. That was the ownership. Like I said, you can, like Parcells used to say, when he left New England, if you're gonna make me cook, at least let me shop for some of the ingredients. And that's not what they let Coughlin did. They had the they had the general manager and the head coach, separate from each other. The general manager Jerry Reese gave Coughlin the players. Coughlin was supposed to make the players work in the system. So, do I think that Coughlin can evolve? Yes. I do think he can evolve, and I think he has evolved. But the problem is, I think the players nowadays, you take a look at some of these things that, they now have to have social media breaks because they can't be away from their phone from an hour, and they can't have, X amount of practices and, preseason games. They don't want them to play because they don't want to get hurt. And what the thing is cracks me up is, look at the Chicago Bears and even the Giants. Chicago Bears basically played none of their starters in preseason, and it showed the first 6 weeks of the season. The same with the Giants. It's one of those things. We didn't play Saquon a lot, and Saquon, if you remember the Dallas game and the Buffalo game, he was winded quite often. Yeah, he had great games where he had 100 yards, but then he would run for 2 plays and then be out for 6 because we would see Wayne Gallman coming in. So, it's it's a different league than when Coughlin came back from when he was at Boston College. So, do I want Coughlin back? No, I don't want Coughlin back. I want the team to go a different direction. I want the team to go, Rivera, McCarthy. I want Gettleman to still stay and, just at least for another year. I am leery about Gettleman making the choices in reference to the head coach because I think the whole Pat Shurmur fiasco, falls on Gettleman. And the other thing that cracks me up is that people go, well, we have to get we've gotten away from, the Giant Way doesn't work anymore. The Giant Way needs to be rebranded. Well, the problem is we haven't had the Giant Way in years. We haven't had the Giant Way since 2011. We don't draft defense, in linebackers. We don't draft, our pass rushers anymore. The Giant Way was always, win on defense, run the ball, control the clock. And that took us to win 4 Super Bowls. We went to 5, but we won 4. So, to me, and then people are like, well, the Giant Way is too old school. We need to go Lamar Jackson and all. You know what? Here's the problem. We hired Pat Sherman. I want to run him over with Sherman Tank. We hired Pat Shurmur. He's supposed to be the offensive genius, the offensive guru, the quarterback whisperer. You know what? And that was our chance into relevance, into the millennium. But it didn't work. What works for us and has worked for us going back to the 50s is defense, running the ball, quarterback who, besides Eli, doesn't lose the game. Eli was a quarterback that was never a clock manager. Eli was always, and even in 2007, he carried us through that playoffs in 2007 and 2011. He carried us through that. So my thing is, he's never been the clock manager that people can, think him to be. He was the gunslinger. That's why he's thrown so many interceptions under Gilbright's offense. But, I digress. Going back to, do I want Coughlin? No. I think that we should go back to the Giant Way, and I think that we should pick a head coach with head coaching experience, with a resume, who can come in here and talk to these players and understand these players and make these players play, because that's what it's all about. I'm not one of those. Yeah, I'm 50 years old, but I'm not one of those guys that sit there and go, well, in my day, the players played with broken legs and broken noses and all this stuff. They didn't. But the thing is, I think the players are so bigger and so much faster now that they need more opportunities to heal, and I think they need more opportunities to rest, as strange as that seems. But you know what? I want to see the team get conditioned. I want to see the team play 4 quarters, and I think that's the issue. And I think motivation. I always thought a head coach could give you at least 3 wins or take away 3 wins. And I think that's true with Shurmur, because Shurmur blew a couple games that we should have won this year. So he's the negative head coach. He's the anti-head coach. So my question is, Coughlin, no. I'm not down with Coughlin. I think, like I said, I think the time has passed. I think we should move on. We should not even think about Coughlin. If we want to bring him in as a job in the front office, I have no problem with that. I do think he's a good talent evaluator. I think his Josh Allen pick, stole it from us, was a coup. He did go to the NFC Championship game his first year, even with Blake Bortles. He didn't have a quarterback. The Nick Foles fiasco was, he was trying to find that quarterback. But it's neither here nor there. But, like I said, we need to move away. We need to move on, and we need to just be who we are. We are the New York Football Giants. We are predicated on defense, running the ball, and just shutting people down. We need to go back to that. And hopefully we can in the near future. So, but Coughlin, no, not right now. And do I think the game's passed him? No, I just think the players have passed him more than the game's passed him. So, but that's where I think that falls right now. So again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And let's go Sunday. Let's beat those Redskins.